Hey, welcome back to BattleBots, living in Losec. Uh, Sorry about the delay on doing a third video in this series that I've been doing. I had a little bit of delay with work, and then also recently I did leave my current corporation. Um, just a little bit of, not kerfuffle, just got a little bit frustrated with the direction it was going, so I had to reset a few things up. Um, Nothing against anybody that was in the corporation. It just seemed like they didn't have a focus on what they wanted to do, and that focus seemed to change almost daily or every other daily. And I'm just kind of decided I would separate my ways for a little while. So I was just kind of looking around for another corporation or trying to decide whether or not I wanted to start my own. Um, the only problem with starting your own is then you have to recruit people and you have to be in charge of people, which I've done my entire life. um, Other than recruiting, I'm terrible at recruiting. So I've just been kind of scanning around. But then I sit there and I look at, if I go ratting, I'm dealing with that whole 11% tax rate on the NPC corp that I'm in. So I messed around with my planetary interaction, got that up and running, but I hate to just lose that money. But I got to make a decision here soon. That said, no big deal. Time to move on. Um, so this will be the third part in my beginner's examination of heavy. Let's see here. Of heavy attack frigates in Eve. Basic heavy attack frigates. It's a view of a new player looking at one form of ship that is shared by each one of the major factions. And I'm doing 4 of those, one for each faction. And then the 5th one I want to do is just a full comparison numbers-wise of those and how I think I like or dislike. The reason why I'm doing the heavy attack frigates are, well, I fly them. But secondly, they're the ones that seem to focus mostly on each um, faction's specialties. I think I talked about that in the last video. Whereas, for example, the Glente Tristan has drones. The Caldari Kestrel, which I did in the second video, focuses on missiles. Today I wanted to go over, that leaves the Rifter for the Amar. I'm sorry, for the Mimitar, and just pull her up here. The um, Tormentor for the Amar. So I want to go over the Rifter today. Why? Because it looks like an X-Wing fighter. No, but that is why I personally believe they have the Rifter on almost every advertisement, just to try to get those last Star Trek people in. Um, I don't mind the ship, but kind of goal I did in the last 2 videos is I just pull up the fitting window. I fit it out with the most basic alpha fit that's out there. You're going to laugh at the fit if you know anything about any of these ships. But it is something that somebody can jump into as soon as they boot up the game and go out and shoot somebody with. And then you can just grow from there. And I kind of, as I'm adding the things in, I look it over because I honestly haven't flown a Rifter, I don't think. So it kind of gets me jazzed about looking at it. I am going to start training into Minmatar ships. I'm currently trained into Galente ships, but I'm in Minmatar space, and I've got a lot of parts for them. So I'm going to start training into those. So you might see me a lot in later videos flying those. And then once I'm done with that, we'll just pull up zkillboard and look over a couple of other ships that have been blown up, flying Rifters, pilots who have blown it, and see what might. And that's been the most interesting part near the end of the video. Is okay, we do this quick fit. Well, it's not really that quick. I talk a lot, but and then we look at what other people have had and what they died in. And when they die, it doesn't mean that they flew poorly. They could have been tackled by 5 guys. They could have been doing something else. They could have been a tackler themselves, and their goal was just to die while holding somebody else down. I think I ran into that with the Tristan. Somebody was doing that. So I think, I just mentioned that. But by doing the first part, getting a basis, that's kind of my foundation of the house, and then looking at the zkillboard, it gets my brain exploding as to the options and things like that. And if you're ever wondering about fits, the fastest way I've found is just go to zkillboard. I see a lot of times people asking, hey, do you have a fit for this? How do you have a fit for that? Where if you go to zkillboard, you can pull up 10 fits right in front of you and look them through, find one that you like, and see, you see if they work or don't work. So let's get started. Try to go this, I'm getting a little bit faster at this, but we'll go ahead and do this. So we've got our ship here. Now I'm currently in my nearest that I've been doing my planetary interaction with. Don't laugh at my fitting. It's just a quick, hey, let's run around and take care of stuff as quickly as possible. And we're going to go in here, and we are going to say Rifter. And we're going to pull up the Rifter. And we're going to simulate it. Just as a reminder, if anybody, I do like to bring this up, just if you're a new player, this is a great site. It goes from starting the game, it's very simply written. It's how I would have written something. I do a lot of writing for work, a lot of training, and outside of that for other games. And I like to keep it, okay, you just walked into the door, through the door, what's the next thing you do? What's the next thing you do? What's the next thing you do? Versus throwing a bunch of, like a dictionary where it's just alphabetical. I really like the way this guy wrote this page, so I've been using it. And down here in the 5th area here, he has a description of all the ships, from beginner through destroyer, through cruiser, and I think battle cruiser. And then he also gives some recommended fits, and explains those fits too, which is kind of cool. Just really well written, easy to understand. As you can see here, this is, and it's importable. You can import this if you want. I'm just going to pull it over the side here and build my ship with it. But we're going to throw all this stuff on. As I throw the stuff onto the ship, I'll explain what I think it's doing, why he's doing that. I've had a few questions as to, well, why are you throwing on ranged weapons versus up-close weapons? Because the fit's here. That's what the guy had. Okay, this is something that somebody could literally pull up and play with right away, and I really like that. And then look at something later on. So we're going to pull this over here on the side and get back into fitting. So we're going to try to do this quickly. Let's go ahead and close that. Hardware. 200 millimeter autocannon 1. Most base. Well, that's a 1200 millimeter. We want a 200 millimeter autocannon. There you are, 200 millimeter autocannon. We need 3 of those. Okay, so why is he putting autocannons on here? Well, the first thing you want to do is for any ship that you're going to fly, you want to look at its bonuses. A frigate, its bonuses is small projectile turrets, rate of fire, and small projectile turrets fall off. So if you're firing projectile turrets out of here, each level you go up to level 5, you get a 5% bonus, and your fall off is a 10%. So basically, you fire faster. You don't do more damage, but you can fire faster. So your damage per second goes up, and your fall off is a larger range, which means that you have a better chance of hitting them and hitting them better. So, and if you ever get a chance, I think I did a video a long bit back when I do another one down the road about turret mechanics, stuff like that. Just some really interesting stuff, but that's why this is here. Good. So we got those. His second thing is he used Fusion S ammo. Okay. So we're going to go charges. Fusion S. So Fusion small, Fusion ammo. There we go. And now I have no skills. I don't think I have hardly any skills in projectile turrets, or it may be the most basic. So your your fitting over here goes by the base skills plus your main skills. So while I may talk about stuff over here, it may be a little bit off depending on what your skills are. So we'll go back over here to modules. So we've got the Fusion S ammo. And what I'm looking for here, I don't know if you can see this. Actually, let's see if I can pull this up. Hover over it here. It's a little bit tough. Its fall-off range is 6,500 meters. Its optimal range is 550 meters. So what does that mean? Well, the closest you can orbit somebody is 500 meters. If you have your afterburner on, you're going to go out to about 1,000 meters. So you're going to be outside of the optimal range. If you're within optimal range, you automatically hit. So what that tells me is this ship would be using this ammo. It would basically be, it's a brute force close range fighter. It also does explosive damage and kinetic damage. So those are two things to look out for. And damage per second is 12.4. 99% of the time, if it's close range damage doing item, that's the highest damage that something can do. I'll take a gander at other stuff later on, but that's what they seem to be fitting these out with. So we'll go with that. Do not know. And I don't want to hold up the video to look it up. So I have to go through each one of them. So, next. Let's get back into here. I'll bet he has a damage control on there. Yes, he does. Everybody wants a damage control. So we're going to do damage control. Talked about this in the past. Damage control is really helpful. I think it's kind of the beginners. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, cool. I will tell you about this here in a second. Just a rehash of my last videos. Damage control gives you bonuses to all your armor, your shields, and your structure. My most important thing that I look for here is the structure bonus. Because when you get to structure, you're going to have it, I'm going to have it, everybody's going to have it, where you die with 10% less left in your structure, or you get out of dodge with 10% of structure. You're like, woohoo, I made it. And that's where this comes in handy. This is the beginner, damage control to me is the beginner's safeguard. It's not going to save you all the time, but if it saves you with one ship once a week, that's good. So he's got that on here. He's also got a small armor repairer. So we'll go in here. So what does that tell me? It's an armor tank ship. Small armor repair 1. Good. Don't really have to drag that. I can just double click it. And then a gyro stabilizer. And I already know what that is. But just by where it's put, I could assume what it is too. Normally, items down here that affect weapons cause them to do more damage, or they affect your weapons to do that sort of thing. I'm betting that the gyro stabilizer affects damage to projectile weapons. Let's check her out. Gives a bonus to speed and damage. So it increases both the speed, which is the rate of fire, and the damage. So if you take the ship's bonus for rate of fire and this guy's bonus of rate of fire, boom, you might be good. Now, there's an open slot here. I'll show you here. They do not have a fourth slot here for the Rifter. Something in the fourth slot. I'm not going to fill it just yet. The reason being that this fit is made for new players who just started the game. They may not have the power grid skills or the capacitor to fill it all out. I may be able to throw something in there at the end. But we're going to go with what they've got here and see what it looks like. The other thing that this could be, and they do keep this website up pretty well from what I can tell, is that they may have done an upgrade to or a patch to the Rifter and added a fourth slot. I have no idea. I've seen that happen every once in a while when I'm looking at some old fits when I'm trying to learn. Okay, so mid slots. We're going to go with a afterburner. 1 MN. Regular afterburner. Like I said, this is the most basic. You go out and you kill 5 ships, you're going to find a better afterburner in the right areas. Stasis webifier. I think I talked about this the last time, but stasis webifier 1. Okay. And small capacitor booster. So it seems like this is the same setup that was on the other heavy assault ones that I did before. So I don't want to rehash everything I talked about before that I'm assuming. Small capacitor booster. But I will talk about it very briefly from my take of what they're trying to do with this middle slot area. They're trying to increase your afterburner, your speed with the afterburner. That actually increases from 419 to 881, so it more than doubles your speed, increasing your transversal, which makes it harder for somebody to hit you, especially if they're in close. And I love this analogy. It's just like a fly that I personally am trying to kill. If I'm flying, think of that fly as a Minmatar ship or as a rifter flying around me, and I have a fly swatter. I'm trying to swat it, and it's all over me. Have you ever tried to do that? I'm a big guy, and I can't get that stupid fly. That's where your transversal is. It's harder to hit. The farther out that fly goes, if it's sitting here right on top of my screen, I go bap, and I got a good chance, much better chance of hitting it. So that's what the afterburner goes. The second part here is the webifier, which slows down my opponent, which makes it harder makes them slower and easier for me to hit them. And then the cap booster, and I'm not going to put in the charges here because it doesn't affect anything over here on the stuff, but you'd want to add in cap boosters for this. That recharges the stuff that you're using. Now, I'm looking at this, and this is one thing that I do know. And I might actually not have this cap booster on here. I might look for something else. Because hybrid weapons and lasers use capacitor. The one huge bonus, and I love this, this is one of the reasons why I want to try out Minmatar ships, is the guns don't use capacitor. And if you look here, you have an armor repairer here that might use capacitor. You have your afterburner that might use capacitor, and your webifier. But we don't have the guns using it, so it may not use as much as the other heavy assault ships. Heavy blah 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 ships. I want to use the right terminology. Heavy attack frigates. So I would look at maybe moving that. As far as rigs, I have no idea what he's got here. I do not know Minmatar rigs, so let's get back in there. And delete you, go away. And collision accelerator. Oh, I can tell you what that is. That increases damage. So small collision. And you want to make sure you get the right one. So you got hybrid, energy, and projectile. So small projectile accelerator and burst aerator. So small. Again, make sure you're doing the projectile. So that's what you've got. Okay. Both of those take up all of the slots there. Show info. So the projectile burst aerator increases the ship's projectile turret rate of fire at the expense of increased power grid. So that's right here. It takes up more power grid space. And I'm betting the accelerator, but it increases your rate of fire. So now you've got the ship bonus of rate of fire. You've got the gyro stabilizer rate of fire. And you've got your rig rate of fire bonus. So this thing's going to be firing really fast. Second thing being your, I bet you this one does damage. Projectile accelerator. Ship modification increases the projectile turret's damage output. Increase the power grid. Okay, so even though both of those increase my power grid here, down here, I still have almost 25% of my power grid left. So I could throw in another gyro stabilizer. You know what? So I am thinking that maybe since the site was made up, they added this on. Yep, I can get a third one on here, or a second one on here. So this is a little bit of a bonus. I can do a little bit more. Oh, but wait, as you can see here, I can't use my CPU is too high. So I would have to look for something else to throw in there on the 4th level. Now, let's go ahead and unfit that. Some things I might be able to put on. Armor plating. Because this is an armor ship. Something along those lines. No big deal. I could even put in something to take armor off to speed me up, or inertial stabilizer, something like that, possibly, to make me go faster to increase my speed tanking, or I could go armor-wise and go the opposite way and make myself more armor tank. So that's a bonus. But there's definitely room that I can do here, have some fun with. So that is a basic alpha fit. I'm 99% sure that anybody booting up the game today can fit this ship out to go do it. If not, probably within an hour or two. Up here it tells you what you're missing: insufficient required charges, because I don't have anything for my cap booster. And I don't know how to fly a Minotaur frigate, so I couldn't fly this anyway. That's going to be my next one. I think I might just throw that in tonight. So, what I'm going to do is, so that is basically that. So let's go on back out to zkillboard. Your friend and mine, zkillboard, blah, blah, blah. And like I said before, a lot of people look up individual players. I just like looking up the ships. So zkillboard. Oh, sorry, you saw that? This is the horrible part about being recording. That's what my brain. Have you ever? I'll be on like CNN reading, and I'll be done with an article. And I'm like, oh, I'm tired of watching CNN. What should I click on? I'll click on CNN. I do that all the time. I'll be on ESPN, or I'll be on another site. And be like, I need something else to read. And I'll click on the exact same site link for that. Did the same thing right here. Okay, Rifter. You didn't need to know that. Probably not even understand what the heck I'm saying. Okay. Again, this is just also a diary for myself. I'm so looking forward to, I'm holding off on it about a month or two from now, looking back at these videos. I started looking up logos, how to make those, how to create an introduction to the video. I'm having a little bit more free time. It's been super nice out lately, so I've been doing a lot of work around the house, but whenever I get stuck inside with the rain, I have a little bit more time with that. Okay, first thing you want to look for here is people who fly Rifters are 42% dangerous, 58% snuggly. Yeah, okay. Wow, okay, so looking here, if you saw my last two videos, as soon as I pulled it up, there was a lot of red. Well, now I'm looking in here. Well, no, this looks like it might have just been a fight, because this is all, that's a goon swarm. If you, I know of the major groups because I've been watching. Great site. I think it's better and better almost every day. It's called Talking in Stations. I watch it almost every day. Fantastic. I can't say enough about them. So we'll get back to that. So that is one of the major alliances. So that was probably a major war for 2UX. So yeah, everything died in the same one. We don't really care about that. We're looking for, I'm living in low sec, so I'm looking for guys who died in low sec. And looks like we've got a couple here. And so actually 2 right off the bat, 3 right off the bat. Well, that one's in heck. So let's look at this one first. Well, let's look at this one first. This is a very basic one. It's probably normal. He's got his projectile turrets. He's got that upgraded afterburner that I talked about, a web of fire, and a warp scrambler. So this is definitely a PvP ship. The only reason why you have a warp scrambler on your ship, unless it's something super duper special, is if you're trying to do PvP. Now in his 4 slots, almost the same stuff that I have. Damage control, armor repair. There's that possible extra armor that he could throw, that I was saying you could throw on. And he's got a multispectral coating for that. So the difference being that he doesn't have anything boosting his guns. He does have armor protection on it. So what this could be is a tackle ship like that Tristan from the other day, in my mind, because he's not trying to do much damage. He's trying to survive. Looking here, he's got some armor protection. And a little bit, that Aerator right there, that's the one that increases the speed that we just looked about. So he is trying to do a little bit more damage. But this is, so we'll try my armor pump. So this, I think this helps increases repair rate. So what this is telling me is this is a guy who's flying in and trying to hold somebody down and hit them with their guns. But he's not going to do a lot of damage. But he is going to do it quickly. He might be able to hold out. And the longer he can hold out, if his friends are coming in, the faster that there's a chance they may be able to blow up the guy he's fighting. But that's my thought with this ship. So that's good. Or he could just be out there on his own, trying it out. No idea. And then, so I think that was that one. Let's go up here and look at this 10 million. So this is 10 million ISK. I like looking at these to see what could be in the future. Oh, what was the... That's another one. Well, it doesn't really matter. So look at the type of ammo. So he's using Barrage S. I think that is an upgraded ammo. So that might be a little bit of the cost. He's got some light autocannon too. So these are upgraded guns. Again, he's got the warp scrambler and web of fire. So this is definitely a PvP ship. He's got an upgraded damage control, so he's going to be able to take a little bit more damage there. Armor repair, same stuff. And a gyro stabilizer too. So he is trying to do more damage with these guys versus the last guy in this slot was trying to hit a multispectral armor coating on there or whatever it is. So, and then he's got the Aerator, but it's a level 2. And then 2 armor pumps. So both of them went with armor pumps versus the ship that I had set up went with damage. So this one looks to be a little bit more well-rounded. Definitely a PvP ship because of that warp scrambler. But everything's upgraded on it. Hence, it costs more. 10 million ISK. Depending on their skills, they could be doing a lot more damage than other people. I'm just looking to see if he dropped anything other than what he had on him. It looks like he had some nanite repair paste, which I think is used to repair overheating. Off the top of my head, I might be right. I'm not sure. He's got some definitely some upgraded ammo here. Something I'm looking at here, and this I meant to look at this the other one, is these are all sorts of different types of ammo. So he's adjusting his ammo to his opponent. And that comes to my last point on why I'm trying to learn this. Because as I do this more and more, I'm learning about the ships. So once I do get more into PvP, I can look at somebody and go, okay, a Rifter. That is... I should have gone over this before. Their shields are EM weak and explosive strong. Exact opposite there. So I want to, and they're mostly armor tanked. So maybe I want to focus on explosive damage. And switch out my weapons. So the more I work on the basics of it, the faster I can make those decisions, which may make it easier for me to be able to play. So basically, that's it for today. I'm learning a lot. I hate to say this. I've been holding off on it I know I want to compare all 4 of these. I really don't like Mars ships. It isn't. I know I'm going to do the Tormentor next. You're not going to see me happy about it. It isn't that I don't like the ships. I know they have their role. I know there's probably all sorts of bonuses to it. I only like what they look like. They're too sleek. I'm a big burly guy. I like to fly ugly things, um, Star Warsy things. This looks like a Mars ship looks like something out of like Buck Rogers or something like that. Not even Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon or something. Maybe I'll get used to it. Maybe it'll be awesome and I'll be like, hey, this is pretty cool. But I will do a video on that next, and then I'll do a last video comparing all 4 ships and what my kind of findings are after I've flown a little bit of each. I don't. I definitely want to fly the Rifter. I'm going to test that in right now after this video is done. You guys have any questions, any concerns, any ideas? Just please feel free to send it over to me. If you've got ideas as far as a corporation, let me know too. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do next. I'm trying to stay out of big wars. Long story short, the corporation that I was in, they built a state. They were a brand new corporation, built a station, which then made them more eligible. Which they got targeted, and this was a brand new corporation. They got targeted by some of the big alliances out there that came and destroyed their station. They also joined in an alliance, which made them more eligible, and they were trying to be a PVE corp. So and then they backed off of that. They got out of the alliance, and they were restarting, and instantaneously they were like, "Hey, we're going to join another alliance," and after we'd voted not to, and that's what I was like. You know what? I need a little bit more structure in my life. Maybe I create my own, or maybe I join some. I want to help a new group, but I want to make sure the leadership there is consistent. So I'm usually pretty amenable to almost anything except for, and I don't mind people changing their minds. It's just whenever you boot up every single day, and something's different because somebody did. That just doesn't. I want to be focused on something. So neither here nor there. Alrighty, you guys have a great day. This video went on way too long, but I'm really kind of jazzed to jump into the a new Rifter here. Again, if you have any questions, feel free. Fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however the heck you want. Build safe, build dangerously, do whatever you want. Just have fun. That's all I want to do in this game is have fun. And I have. Even doing these videos. Alrighty. Have a good one.